first thing you can do, you can put the anchor point up at the top and have them come down. Okay, that's the first thing. So you got several options. You can non-uniformly scale it on the Y, but see how, you know, you've got that mask issue happening with that. So that's the first one. I think what would work a little better is a linear wipe here. And then I'm going to show you the way I think will work the best. I'm just showing you some options because that was one. Here's another one. All right, so now let's change the direction. Let's try 0. Now let's test it out. Yep. Okay. So now see how 0 looks a little off. So I can rotate a little bit to make it try and match that shape a little better. Let's try that. Okay, almost there. Okay, that's a little better. Like that. See that? That's one thing we can do. So, you know, fix the angle and keyframe the transition. But there's an effect called Jaws. I'll show you what Jaws does. We're going to try RoboJaw. Let's change the angle a little bit. Let's try about here. You can adjust this however you want. Different effects. So that was CC Jaws. I think there's another one in transitions that's like Jaws. We could try Barn Door. That's another one that'll work pretty good. Barn Doors. Okay, so we'll put that here. And I'm going to show you another way, even on top of this. Now we change the direction. Let's do that. I think there is a wipe that has a barn door setting. I'm gonna try a radial wipe and see if I can square it off. 1 second. That's working better than the linear wipe right off the bat. And then we can change clockwise, counterclockwise, or both. See what we get with that. That's gone up that way, so let's try counterclockwise. Nope, clockwise was working best. So this one's working pretty good. But there's one way that's more professional. You ready? Here's what I'd suggest. All right, so we got 2 smiles. And this, okay? The muzzle. I can duplicate this muzzle. Command D, duplicate it, put it on top. Good evening. We're recording right now. We're doing extra lab. Then I'm going to do a short lecture. Then it's going to be extra lab. All right. So we got the muzzle on top, and we can try. Let's put a radial wipe on this, and we'll have your mouth open. So the duplicate muzzle's on top. and we're going to try and make this look like the mouth is closing. That's the objective. See, like that? So, duplicating the muzzle and then bringing this in is looking really good. This radial wipe, because the mouth is the curve. And another thing, actually, if everyone could watch this real quick. This transition, I do not need to go from 100 to 0 or 0 to 100. Watch real closely up here, this number in the mouth. So right there, we're not even seeing it until 80. So I'm just wasting time starting at 100 when you really don't see the effect till 80. Make sense? So always test out and see when you're messing around with transitions, and then you'll time them a little better. So I'm going to go from 80, and that was all I wanted to show you guys, to, let's see, it'd be a lower number. Yep, let's see how low we got to go. You look at that, we only had to go to, I'll go to 77. We only had to go 3. Like that. All right, so I'm going to hit U. I'm going to easy ease these. Right click, keyframe assistant, easy ease. Now let's hop into our speed graph. Click here to make sure we're in our speed graph, which I knew we were. This will expand our speed graph. I'm gonna go slower into it. You know, have a little bit of and a little faster out. So I'm going faster out. This is the fastest part of the animation, and that's the slowest. That really sped it up. But like I said, it is a mouth close. So if that's a little too fast for you, you just drag the second frame apart. I mean the second keyframe. So we got that. That's happening. Now we've got the other smile. I'll put above this. And we can just copy this muzzle, I mean the radial wipe on it, and change the keyframing on it. So let's go there, and we know 80 was when it was open. So I could change the timing on that, so it comes in a little sooner. Like that. That's one way of changing it. Make sense?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that one.
Yeah, this looks the best. It's keeping the curve of the mouth. And what we could do, it'd be nice if there was a sliver there, but we can't get that with the artwork. But this is working out pretty good. Pass that along for your reference to look at. All right, any other questions on this? It's come along nicely. Oh, now, while we're here, let's take a look at the hair. Okay? Because I did this earlier, and I just want to see how easy it's going to be to redo it. Snout, snout. The hair's on the head, right?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. So if I put a CC bend on it, and remember, the base is what does not move, and the top is what does move. So I'm going to set my base for here, because I don't want it to affect the whole head. I just want it to affect like the bottom of the hair, okay? And then my top, I'm just clicking once and then clicking again. Now let's test it out. See? All right, cool. So that's bend. Let's try Marilyn. Marilyn's a little too extreme. We'll do bend. So I'm going to put an expression on this amount. So I just hold down Alt or Option as I click, and we do a wiggle. Double click to complete it, and we'll say once per second. Let's do an amount of 10, something small. That's what that looks like. Oh, that's a lot. Let's try 4. So that's a little better. And if that's a little too extreme, we'll change this 1 to 0.5. Click out. Try it out. Now we got that subtle little bit of life to it. So you can do a fraction if you want a less severe one. And I could also even lower this to like 2. So now you got some life with the hair. Great, you got the same wiggle going on here with the snout. That's looking good. Is that a bend or are you rotating it?
I think it was a bend.
Okay. I mean, if you want the bend look, that's good. You could also get it with rotating. Yeah, you get that little bit of distortion to it. And then the eyebrows, we could have wiggle up and down as well if you wanted. Just with, let me see, eyebrow. Yep. Yeah. No problem. No problem at all.
I got as far as duplicating radial wipe on.
Yeah, yep. You're right. Duplicate radial wipe. So my first keyframe, I made the transition completion 80. Start angle 0. Can you see that a little better now? So the only thing I keyframed was the transition completion. So I went from like 80 to like 77 just because it's such a small piece of artwork. Yeah, 80 to 77. And then I eased it. So yeah, duplicate the muzzle, put it between the 2 mouths.
The H is popping.
Oh, okay. Test it out again, you know, like I said, 0 for the angle, clockwise, feather 0.
Yeah, it's just like popping up.
All right, I'll take a look. Yeah, see, my mouth anchor point for the muzzle is up here at the top middle.
Yeah.
And that's how mine's coming down. And then for the smile mouth part, my first keyframe is 86, and my second keyframe is 77. The smile, the cheesy one. My first yeah, I just copied and pasted, so I don't have to redo the speed graph for it. But the numbers are different. So the first number is 86. And my second number is 77.
So where it's like, where I put it onto the, I'm gonna copy and paste that.
Copy and paste the effect?
Yeah.
I just copied the effect. Like, so when I'm here, so muzzle, I just selected radial wipe here, Command C, and I went to this layer and pasted it.
Okay.
That work for you?
Okay.
All right, great job. Just remember the mouth, the reveal, it's 86 and 77. Using these previous and next arrows will prevent you from making unwanted keyframes when you make changes. You know what? I'm going to try something because Labtime is always about pushing yourself, right?
Also, I think the teeth are popping out a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, like so my anchor point's the top middle. I'm going to try and move my wipe for the teeth to come in even sooner so that they're like revealing as the mouth is closing. I'll see what that looks like.
That's weird.
Oh, no, that doesn't look good at all. Well, let's see. Actually, that's, yeah, I liked it better when it was the mouth closes and then the teeth. And like I said, I could always just change the timing on that just so they come in a little sooner. Nice job. I'm going to try one more thing, okay? because like I said, it's what Labtime's about. I got another idea. So I'm going to hide that muzzle. I'm going to hide these teeth. I'm going to duplicate the muzzle one more time, just so it's like the original mouth, okay? And we'll put it above the smile. S. Okay, so now for this one, I'm going to put my anchor point in the dead center. I think I'm getting the best luck at the top. I mean, this is working a little bit. You could get away with masking it, but I think the radial wipe is the way to go.
I was just using InDesign before.
Likely story. Okay, so I created a new composition to put everything in, okay? And I'm just gonna call this main animation. All right, so I clicked the new comp button to get there. I'm gonna take, so here's a reminder. This is the pre-comp, right? I'm too lazy to find it and my time is precious. So if I right click here on the hamburger, I can go reveal, let's see, wait. I don't even have to right click, I just click on the hamburger. Should be reveal composition project right there. See that? And here it is. So I can go to my main animation and throw that in there. All right, we're good. I'm going to center it. Boom, and we're all done. All right, you ready? So the film burn. Film decay is pretty good. So I'm gonna grab film decay. I'll grab this one. Film decay might be the best one in terms of like movie. I'll grab that. You could also just double click on it and get a preview. So there's film decay. That one's a little dreamy, but you know, it still looks cool. That one looks really good. Okay, so that one was called Film Melts on Green Screen 82922. Okay. So I'll work off of that one. There's nothing you can do to stop me. Here we go, right here, 829. Okay, so I'm gonna bring it in. And there we go. And then let me know when you're ready. So first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna scrub with my playhead. Oh wait, was that? Okay, let's see, where's green? There's green. So I wanna get a part of green where there's no fire, okay? That's most important. And we're gonna use key light. And we're just gonna drag that right onto the film strip video. All right, you good? So I'm gonna grab my eyedropper right here. Click on the green. Oh, because the warning popped up. There we go. All right. This yours good? Okay. So there's our alpha. Now we want to see this. So if I just set it as an alpha, it'll disappear. I'll show you. So I'm in my switches and modes. Here's my modes. The mask goes over your face. So the matte is on top of what we want to reveal. I mean, what we want to conceal actually this time. So I'm going to select what we're going to conceal, go over to my track matte column and choose alpha matte. So now the film is hiding the character. Okay. But we can't see the film. So all I gotta do is just duplicate it, Command D, and I'm gonna put it below the character. And I gotta turn the eyeball icon on. So now we got that happening. Okay. I sure did, and no one was able to stop me. The film is on top with the green screen removed, and the layer below that I want to hide, I set that to the alpha matte. You good?
I turn that on and then the video goes completely black.
Right, because you can't see, like if you go to the beginning, you'll see the thing. Like, all right, so I duplicated that film burn one more time. I turned on the eyeball icon so I can see it. So that's the first part. Now we can see the film, and the film is hiding, it's concealing what we want, okay? So now we just gotta make it distress and displace it. So we duplicate the film a third time, Command D. I'm gonna put it on top. And I'm going to click the eyeball to hide it, because we're not gonna need to see it. And for my effect, I'm gonna do hue saturation, because it's gonna be grayscale to make it a displacement map, okay? So I'm going to, oh, wait. I'm going to delete that hue saturation first. I'm going to pre-compose it. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to call this map and move all attributes to new composition. The reason I made it a pre-comp first, if I desaturate it, that's going to desaturate the green screen and it's not going to work. So putting this on the pre-comp will keep the green screen removal and then make what's inside it grayscale. I'll show you. Let me hide the other layers. Go to a part where there's, see? Now it's grayscale. And let me move forward to test it. I'm going to click on my reveal transparency and it works. So we removed the green screen, pre-composed it, and then made it grayscale to use as a displacement map. Make sense? I'll walk it through again. So it's green screen removed, right? I pre-composed it after that. Because if I put the desaturation on that with the green screen, it's going to cancel out the green screen because it's now black and white. So pre-composing it, I'm not putting the desaturation on the actual film, I'm putting it on the pre-comp. So we can remove the green screen and then turn the pre-comp grayscale. So what's inside it turns grayscale. Inside it, it's still color and it's got the green being removed. The pre-comp is making everything inside it grayscale. That makes sense? Okay, I'll take a look at that in a second. So now that I got this grayscale, I'm gonna get a displacement map. I'm gonna throw that on. This is the animation below it right here. And already you can see what's happening. This is dissolving to the left and up. So I'm going to distort my character to the left. See, like that, so it follows it. And then up. So let's take a look. Oh, and I gotta set my displacement map to the, there we go. Then I choose effects and mask. The weird thing is this is not refreshing as I make my changes. See, but that's looking good. We're getting a lot of good displacement there. Like that, I'm happy with that. So I'm gonna render this and then take a look at yours. And to tie it all in, I would fade this on. Just that it, like it's a smooth transition. Here we go. See, that's what would happen with the film burning. It would distort and displace. Look at that. Ta-da! Now let's take a look at yours. Nice job. See, that was an easy fix.
Yeah.
Layer management is, half the key. So what had happened there, the issue was the effect was happening further down the timeline, down here. And since we used it as an alpha matte, there was nothing here to read as an alpha matte. So the fast fix for that was splitting the layer where the effect is going to happen. Two ways to do that. You could go edit, split layer. And you see right there, it makes a duplicate and cuts it at the playhead. That's one way. The other way is with the command Shift D or Control Shift D. That will split the layer. So it cuts it there. So now the effect will happen under there. And just watch your layer stack, you know, because the part that doesn't need the alpha matte, you turn the alpha matte off. You turn the part that does not need the alpha matte, you turn the alpha matte off right there. And then the part that does need the alpha matte, you turn the alpha matte on that layer and make sure it's below what will be revealing it. So that was how we resolved that issue. Brandon's question was, how can I make the hands look like they're shaking, but only for a little amount of time? That's very easy. We're going to do a wiggle on the rotate and tie it to a slider control so we can turn that off and on when we want. R for rotate for that arm. I'm going to raise that arm up. And then this arm right here, we're going to rotate that one up. So here we got the thing, the animal's pointing. There we go. And we'll bring this up a little. Oops, wrong one. There we go. All right. So I'm going to select both hands at the same time. Okay. No problem at all. So what you do then, I'm going to click on this one hand. Okay. And then I'm going to hold down the command key. And oh, wait, or is it the control key? Let me double check. Okay. 1 second. Yeah. So clicking on them here with shift selects just those two. But let me take a look in the timeline. If I click here and then I hold down control, nope, it's probably command. So here I click, it's command. If you're doing it here in the timeline, it's going to be command on a Mac, or like we said, you could hold down shift and click them here. Okay, so you got it working? I'm going to hit R for rotate. So rotate is on both hands, all right? And when I click the stopwatch, it'll, oops-a-daisy. Nope, we're not doing that because we're doing an expression. So I'm going to select them. You ready? I'm going to hold down Alt or Option when I click the rotate, and I'm going to just paste the expression into that one later. So it's wiggle, double click to complete it. Now he's going to be like jazz hands, like a lot of wiggling. So let's try 4 times a second, comma, let's try 20, okay? So I'm going to, remember, you got to click out of the expression field. Yeah, no problem. So let's drop down this so we can see it better. Yeah, without a doubt. Let's try 8 times a second. And I'm going to do 15. Click out, try it out. Yeah, that's a little better, right? Okay. So I'm going to copy this, Command C. I'm going to hold down Alt or Option on my other hand, rotate stopwatch, paste in the same exact expression. Now both hands, he's waving emphatically. All right, so we got our expression. Now we're going to need to put a slider control in the scene to parent the expression to that. So we're going to use an adjustment layer. Reminder, adjustment layers affect every layer below them, plus they're invisible. So it's a great way to like store things in. So I'm going to make an adjustment layer, layer new, adjustment layer. So again, that's layer, new, adjustment layer. It's invisible and it'll affect whatever we want below it. So I'm going to put a slider control in it. I just type slider into the effects search to get that. Here's the final step. It's quick reminder. This pickwhip right here is for the layer. This pickwhip right here is for properties like position, scale, rotation, and opacity, okay? And this pickwhip is for expressions. I'm gonna twirl down, or actually I don't even have to do that. I'm gonna hit the letter E on my keyboard. E pulls up an effect. So I've got more real estate here. All right, so Chris, here's all you gotta do to get this to work. The first number, the number of times per second, you highlight that number in the expression field. Okay, now, the expression pickwhip, not the layer, not the property, the expression one, okay? The expression pickwhip, I'm going to click and drag up to the word slider, and then click out of my expression field. When you've got a slider control, 0 is off, 1 is on. So next, I'm going to do the same thing down here. I'm going to select the number, the first number, the number of times per second, then the expression pickwhip to the word slider by that stopwatch. And then I click out of that expression field. Now they're both parented to that. So let's say I want the waving hands to start right here, okay? So Chris, the final step is you just click the slider stopwatch. 0 is off, move forward however much I want. Let me zoom out a little bit. Change it to 1. 1 is on, 0 is off. And then I go to however long I want the hands to shake. Like let's just say here. I click my empty diamond to make another 1 keyframe that's the exact same as that one. It's no change. I go forward and I just set it to 0 to turn it off. And we will take a look. Hit the spacebar to preview. And it's only shaking the hands when we want them to. You got some nice subtle motion going here. I'm gonna hit save. Expressions are a really useful way of getting some nice motion fast, you know? I'm gonna drop down the resolution just so I can preview it faster. Nice. So I'm going to watch the motion, I'm going to increase the quality. Okay. Blink's a little fast, but that's a fast, easy fix. I mean, they're a little too close together. Nice. All right, so I'm going to go to full quality here. Eyelid. There it is. All right, let me double click on your eyelid. You? Yeah, all you got to do, you can just space this out a little bit more. Just like, sorry. Yeah, make sure you get all 3 of them. Make it easier on myself. So I'm just box selecting, slime a little further down. See how it's a little bit more restful by spreading out that blink? Let's give it like a second. Yeah, and like I said, it's a fast, easy fix. You've already got the keyframes. I'm just sliding them like a second away. That's a little bit better. So now let's dive back in. That's happening. Now we're here at the logo. There's our logo in full resolution. I'm going to go Window, Effects, Controls, because it wasn't on in your project, so I just went Window, Effects, Controls. Let's go pull up your effect control. So I'm going to click on the logo, open that up. A lot of keyframes. All right. A lot of stuff happening. Very interesting. Okay, so you want to try and make it overall a little brighter. Okay, and additionally, you're at 8 bits per channel and you're using some light effects like glows. So what I would recommend is going up to 32 bits per channel. And to do that, you hold down Alt or Option and you click there. So it's at 16, go do it one more time. And now it's 32 bits per channel. That should give us a lot more dynamic range for your light effects. And then we're gonna try and make it easier to see. So now here, it's still at 32 bits, that's good. There's your logo, and you wanna make the logo brighter. All right, let's try this out. Let's try, move forward a little bit. In this layer, I'm going to add a new adjustment layer, so it affects everything below. I'm in your logo animation. All right, no problem. And let's try exposure. Exposure will be a uniform brightening of everything, so I'm not going to take it up too much. Lose too much detail. So I went to about 1.1, just bringing it up about 1 stop of exposure. And we can see the glow a little better now. So let's see, there's the Nova. Wow, that's affecting everything when we do that. That's interesting. Yeah, so we brightened it up a bit without losing that detail you drew in there. Okay, so yeah, the exposure was the quick way to go. Looking very nice. And once we tame down those eye blinks, spacebar to preview this. No, I don't think you have too much going on. It's just the lab computer is a little slow. You know, so you were talking about the explosion might be a little slow. So let's see where your explosion is. Is that in the planet? Wow, it's a lot of effects. Okay, wait, here we go. Shatter. Okay. I just gotta find a layer that's got shatter. Oh, use particle systems. Nice. We're doing particles next week. So you're one step ahead of everybody. I'd like to see here shatter. Okay. So if I go E for effects, here's shatter. There's my keyframes. So it's force. That's where it is. If you think it's too slow, you just move this one keyframe closer together. Oh, that was the radius. That did not work. So there's the force. Let me hit U for keyframe. Yeah, it is the radius. That's what you animated. I moved that keyframe, so maybe there's something else that has a shatter effect on it. Let's see. All right, now let me think. Once that explodes, it goes away, right? It's like after the explosion. Okay, so here's the fast fix for that. Oh, wait, let me drop down my resolution. I'm gonna find where that explosion happens, right? Let's say it starts here, right there. So again, I'm going to split the layer. I can go edit, split layer, or Command Shift D to split it. I'm going to go to where the explosion ends. Wait till it's fully off the screen. Let's pretend that's it. I'm going to do the same thing. Command Shift D or edit, split layer. So I've got this section in the middle that is the explosion. So we isolated the explosion. Now, if I right click or hold down the control key, I can get to time. And I'm going to go to time stretch. I'm going to click there. Can I borrow everyone's eyes for a second? We're going to be covering time later on. 100% is normal speed. It's what she animated, okay? Original duration. Do you see this? 3 seconds. New duration. 3 seconds because we didn't change the speed, okay? Everyone sees that? Watch what happens if I choose 200. The original speed was 3 seconds. Now it's 6 seconds. Doubling the stretch slowed it down twice as much. It was 3 seconds. Now it's 6. Does that make sense? She wants to speed it up. So I'm going to go to 50. It was 3 seconds. Now it's 1.5 seconds. We doubled the speed. Okay, so we'll see what that looks like. And as you guys can see, we're going to need to move stuff around the timeline. Now to preview this animation at double speed. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so that you're happy with that. Just make sure you line your layers back up. The fast fix for that is if you hold down Shift, when you drag, it'll snap to an edge or where the playhead is. So that's the fast way of moving your pre-comps around to keep everything else lined up. All right, great. Do you have any other questions? It's coming along very nicely. Okay, now, one of the things that Chris and I were talking about was having the body visible and invisible at the same time. So it's, as I'm looking at it, since we don't have a lower body, it should probably be masked the whole time, right? But I like the antlers breaking out the top. I'm pressing the U key to hide all my keyframes, just to condense it. the background is this thing, right? Okay, perfect. I unlocked it. All right, now let's take a look. Let's think. I'm going to unlock everything, all right? You guys ready to see something new? I pre-composed the whole body, but not the antlers, because we need to have it in a pre-comp, all right? But I want the antlers to poke out of the circle. That's why the body is pre-composed without the antlers. Everyone with me so far? All right. So I'm going to double click to open my pre-comp that has everything but the antlers. All right. Now watch this. I'm going to click my hamburger and undock. Okay. See how I did that? Everyone good? I undocked that pre-comp. Now watch what's going to happen. I'm going to drag it to here. So now I've got 2 stacked timelines. All right? Yeah, no problem at all. So here is my 2 timelines. So here's my timeline, and here's the body without the antlers, okay? I double click to open it. Hamburger, undock, okay? Now it's undocked. I'm going to click on the name, and I want it here. See how there's that purple edge there? So we've got stacked timelines. Now, here's where it's going to get wild. We're going to test it out, make sure it works. Everyone ready? All right, this is a little more of an advanced trick, but I want this to work, and you know, there's always time to learn. So here's the horn. I need the horn parented to the head. The head is inside its own pre-comp. That's why I stacked these timelines, okay? So I'm gonna see if I can drag this to here. Oh, let's try P for position, P for position, and I'm going to alt click to get an expression. Now let's see if it lets me. Yes, that looks like it did it. And I'm going to open it again, but I think I got it this time. Okay. We're good so far, right? No changes made. It's the original file. I'm just going to unlock everything. I'm going to rename this so I don't damage it again. Okay. You ready? So, we want the antler to break free and the rest of the body to be alpha matted. The surefire fix is to duplicate the shape and put it above every layer. That will work, okay? That'll be the fastest way of doing it. So here's a background mat. Command D to duplicate. And just every layer, I'm gonna have to set as an alpha mat. See how the neck's invisible now? Then when it comes in here. So I'm gonna duplicate it again, put it above the ear, set the alpha mat, duplicate it again, above the mouth, just turn it on, set the alpha mat. There's not like a billion layers. This isn't any big deal. Go. Yep. Well, that's working so far. So this has to be there, and it has to be out. Yeah, now we're practically done. It's that last one here. So just the background mat, duplicate again. Yep. This is gonna work, you know. And it's worth it to get that antler breaking through. I mean, oh, wait a second. That is already matted, I just realized. So I'm gonna need to pre-compose those and then use this as a mat, or just draw a mask. See what I mean? How the eye. So all I'm gonna have to do is just grab these two, pre-compose them. Actually, it's gonna be the whole thing. Yeah, I'm just gonna grab all of that, pre-compose it, call it I final PC, move all attributes. Now I can use this as an alpha mat. And here's where the split layer should come in handy. So if I go, it'll make sense if we split the layer right. Say right here. Wait, right where, see here how it's connected here? Let's try there. If I split the horn right there, come on. Command Shift D, oops, Command Shift D, okay. I'm gonna duplicate this mat, put it above that horn, turn on my alpha mat. It's a bit sudden there. Maybe here is where it should be. So I'm just going to fix that. Oops. Layer out. And then change my split. Like that. That's a bit better. You know what I mean? And then it's working the right way the whole time, except for the eyes. Seeing that? Why are we not seeing the eyes there? Ears. Here's the eye. Ever seen it over there? Okay. The parenting growth. That's what that is. So, what we'll do is we'll rewind. Yeah, 1 sec. I'm going to copy these out of here, paste them back. Should be parented. So I'm going to pre-compose it here. Call it I final 2. Get rid of this one. All right. Now I'm going to parent this to the head. set this as an alpha mat. Now it's blinking, and it's moving with the body, and we did it. So I went back to the beginning of the timeline, parented the eye pre-comp to the head, so it moves with the body properly. And then I set the alpha mat for the eye with the background mat. That makes sense. And there we go. We've got the whole character coming in properly. There we go. The eyebrows are okay, because of that mat. So let me turn that off. It was set with the mat for the layer above. So let's try that out. Now they're there. So the reason that happened was inside this pre-comp, they were matted by this. So I turned that off so that they're visible. And this whole pre-comp is matted by that. That's why now you can see the eyebrows. Make sense? Yeah, no problem. Any other questions? I'm gonna be here like another hour and 50 minutes. So, do you want me to send you this as reference, or you're already caught up? And oh, it's 7:40. Oh, I read the clock wrong. All right, so I'm here another 50 minutes. I know you all love my company so much you don't want to leave, but so we did turbulent displace. Let me see what wave looks like real fast. There's wave world. No, we're not going to do wave world. Let's try wave warp. Wave warp is actually doing a better job than turbulent displace was. So let's dial that look in. See what I mean? So I can solo the film strip by clicking over here. Now we got. All right, so the wave width, if we make that wider, we'll get smaller ripples, which is what it would look like. You know what I mean? And the wave height, we can dial that down a little bit so it's more uniform. And then we could lower the speed if you want to get something a little more subtle. Like that. And it's keeping the form of it while giving it that ripple look. Now let's try pinning just for the fun of it. Let's try the left edge. No, okay. Let's try the horizontal edges. Turn that off. Then aliasing, let's try high. And then we can change the direction too if we want. Like, I think I'm gonna follow the angle of your film strip, like that. See that? And that's helping it out a bit. So that's a sine weave. Sawtooth is gonna be doing that. We're probably going one sine weave. Oh, wild. Yeah, we're doing sine waves for sure. So I can copy this, the effect, because I got selected. And I'll paste it on here. And I'm going to change the direction to match that one. Such. Along the lines of what you wanted. And then we could also try turbulent displace as well. Let me turn off that one and we can do a side-by-side comparison. See what happened there? Already it's... I think for this we... pin the you know what? Let's try something else real quick. I got a thought in my head. Now we're not going to do ripple. Let's see ripple pulse. That's not working. All right, try that turbulent displace one more time. See if we can get something better with it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a time expression on the evolution. So it's constantly moving. So it's time asterisk. Let's try 130. See where that starts us off with. Okay, so we got some constant turbulent displace happening. Now, let's see. Well, that looked like it was working best so far. Now the size, I'm going to lower the size a little bit. Let's try. I clicked on resize layer because it's a little better with the smaller amount. So that's your difference between the two. Like one's got that blowing in the wind look, and the other one has the steadiness. So I'm gonna send you both of these to, like, you know, so you can compare which one you like better. Yeah, because like I said, we did it on one side. This way you can do a side-by-side comparison. Oh, I like how you changed the spinning of that. Nice. Cool, so now you'll have both to look at. And you can see, you know, when it comes to displacement, we got two completely different looks. Like this is going in a sine wave that's consistent, and this is more like flopping in the wind type of look. CC bend would pin it down more, but it wouldn't give us that ripple. It would be like it was flopping around like that. Like that's, you know, it'd be really bendy. I'm gonna copy this and make a new pre-comp and show you. All right, so I'm gonna turn off the turbulent displace and show you bend, and then I'll hop on to Chris's question. So I do CC bender. It's always, the base does not move. So that's going to get pinned down, and the top is the part that does move. And that's what it's going to be doing. So that is bend. Here's Marilyn. Sharp is going to look like an elbow bending. And boxer Boxer's not half bad. So if we go, okay, Boxer's not half bad. I just put a wiggle on there. Hold down Alt or Option, start my expression, double click to complete, and then we could say twice, 2 times a second, an amount of 20. Let's see what that looks like. Click out, spacebar. So we could say, let's try 4 times a second with an amount of 10. So that way it looks pinned down with that happening. So what would happen if we tied in a wave warp to it? So now we got 2 different things happening. Or with the turbulent displace. So now we tied 2 ideas together. See the difference? And the film is distorting inside there, whereas with the bend, it's keeping even spacing. So it's just something to consider. That was that. Oh, here it was. I'm going to call this bend test. I'm just going to double click so you got it over here if you want to take a look at it. All right, cool. So I'll send that out to you. I'm glad you reminded me of that. So you see how you can, there's more than one way you can make that film move around. It's just which way do you want it to move around? That's when you start getting into being deliberate about your choices. No problem at all. It's what Labtime's all about. So it's what the green and the red are 2 layers. I'm going to bring it in as 1 file. Normally, it's composition retain layer sizes. I want it 1 file, okay? Merge layers, yes. So first I'm going to go to 8 bits. Okay, throw the rows in. All right, there's our rows, right? Okay. Oh, yeah. Here's where we tested out that. That's funny. Okay. And we already fixed this part on yours, so I'm just showing you this for you. All right, so I'm going to import that rows again as 1 layer, so I want to keep it together. Normally, composition retain layer sizes, but we want this as 1 piece of artwork. Merge layers, yes. And I'm going to continuously rasterize it. Scale down a little bit. Okay. So let's see. Where is the light? There's the spotlight. So watch what's going to happen. I put it below the light layer. See that? Now it's instantly interacting with that. All right. That's the first thought. Do you see it?
Yeah, no, I was thinking of the one.
You're gonna see. Trust me. I just wanted you to show. Now, first, it's interacting with the light. You got that?
Yeah.
All right. So, I'm going to. Yeah, no problem. Go delete that layer. We still got it. Are you ready? Because I'm going to dive into a quick look at custom particles. Okay, no problem. So, if you want to make a custom particle, you click New Comp. Okay. And normally you want it to be between 200 by 200 or 400 by 400, okay? I'm going to do 200 by 200. I'm going to turn off lock aspect ratio. The reason for that is you want your custom particles to be a little bit smaller so that you can run faster. And while that's opening, the reason I'm going to make a particle system out of this rows is 1, they can be different sizes, they'll be angled differently, and it'll animate all of them for me without me having to keyframe it. 200 by 200. And how long's your main animation? We go to theater background. It's 30 seconds. So I would make the rows composition 30 seconds. just so it's long enough. You know what I mean? If it's not long enough, it'll disappear. So I'm gonna make sure it's the right length now. All right. So this way, the particle is going to be there the whole time, even though it's not there for the full 30 seconds. All right. And then drag the rows into that pre-comp. And here's the most important thing about a custom particle. You want the whole thing to fit inside that. So I scaled mine down 35% to 35, and I positioned it so it's inside the comp with some space around it. So we can now close that rows pre-comp, okay? The rows pre-comp, I'm gonna select it in my project panel and drag it into your theater background. And I put it below the spotlight layer. I'm going to click the eyeball on the rows pre-comp to hide it. And then I'm gonna hit save. Because we're going to make it a particle system, we don't need to see the original, okay? But it has to be in the timeline that you're putting your particles in. Got it? All right, so we're gonna go layer, new, solid, and we'll call it particles. And click OK. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, so in your effects, you're gonna type in part, and we're gonna want CC particle world. We're gonna drag that onto the particles layer. I'm going to solo that by clicking that button, all right? And this is what this first particle system looks like. I'm gonna go to the physics engine. Let's try. Okay, there's direction axis. Direction axis is flowing out in one direction, all right? Yeah, this one looks the most useful. So I'm gonna try and rotate this. There we go. So I twirled down extras, effect camera, and on the Y, I did -90. So it's pointing towards your stage. I'm gonna hit save. So effects, effect camera, on rotate Y, I did -90. So it's pointing towards your stage. So we've got the direction of the particles working. No problem. All right, I'm gonna spread this out. So I'm gonna need to do some more rotating first. So I went under producer, and on the Z, I spread it out on the radius. Yeah. For me, it was 0.5. See how it's covering the area? Okay, so now I've got to rotate this some more. Nope, not that way. That was it. You ready for the next step? Under my effect camera, under extras, effect camera, on the rotate X, I did about 35. So it's arcing up and landing the way that you want the motion to go. See that? All right, so now we're dialing in the look. So now I'm gonna move the position. That's what we want. I changed the position X to -0.43. You see what we've got? Now they're coming from off the screen and landing, okay? All right, so that's working. I'm gonna hit save. This is the part where we're gonna load in our particle. So I'm gonna go to the particle tab. I just closed everything else to make it easier on me. Particle type. You're gonna want textured, faded disc. So it's gonna be soft all around. And no, you know what? We're not gonna want that. We're gonna do textured square, okay? Because you're just going to basically have one flower in each thing we think. We're going to find out. So it's going to be placed inside the square. So I'm going to twirl down texture below that. And for our texture layer, we're going to choose rows. Now let's change our birth size. Here we go. Now we're starting to see it. Let me move forward a little bit. So the birth size, it's going to be the same size throughout its life. So I'm going to make a birth size of 1 and a death size of 1. Okay? That's the first step. So it's roughly the size of your artwork now. I'm going to hit save. Maximum opacity, make that 100 because it doesn't disappear. Now, above that, we see opacity map. What this is saying, it's going to fade on and fade off. I don't want that to happen because roses don't fade. You know what I mean? So when you move your mouse over it, you get a pen. I'm going to just paint in that top so I've got solid. That means it's not going to fade on, it's not going to fade off. Okay? I'm going to hit save. Here's our next step. Birth color, death color. If we want to keep the colors that you made, we just set them both to white. So this way it won't change its color while it's on the screen. And there's your color back. Okay? All right, so, yep, right there is the flowers coming up. So I'm going to unsolo that layer. And next, we're just going to drag the timeline layer to where you want to have it. Like, say he does, you know, the little hands here or whatever. They're coming up and doing their thing right here, okay? Now, that's the first part. So, birth rate, I'm going to change that to 1. Oops. Back to particles. All right, birth rate, I'm going to change that to 1. So there's less of them. That's already looking better. Longevity. I'm going to change this to 12. I'm at longevity right here. It's right at the top under birth rate. I changed my birth rate to 1 and my longevity to 12. So there's going to be fewer flowers being thrown. So we got these coming up. Now I'm going to try and create a floor, because now they're just falling into space. So that part's done. Guys, grid. So let's see if I can get the floor working here. And then we'll be sitting pretty. That would be under guides and grid, I believe. Physics floor. Yeah, but first we'll see if we get it to behave. So we'll test it on mine first, so we don't. Okay, yeah, the floor's working now. I just gotta fix the position of it. did work. I've got the floor working. I'll tell you in a second. Yeah, I'm just trying to, you know, this advanced particle stuff. So, let's see. Okay, so here's the changes I made. You ready? My birth rate is 1. My longevity is like 11.32. Then under producer, my position X is minus 0.55. I move them further back in the scene because they were flying up too high.
Yeah.
My radius X and my radius Y I set to 0.01 for each of those. My radius Z I set to 0.7. In physics, direction axis, velocity 1, gravity, I didn't change any of this. But floor, my floor position is 1.28 it looks. My floor action is set to glue. What glue means is when a particle hits it, it sticks to where the floor is, okay? Where the floor is where that grid was that we saw. So I positioned that floor right here, moving it up and down in the scene until it looked like it's landing on the stage.
Yeah.
Okay. Then under extras, I have my rotation X at plus 35, my rotation Y at minus 90, and that's the change that I did there. Okay. So size variation, let's set that up to 100, and all the roses will be different sizes now. That was under particle and size variation. And let me see. So I'm also going to click. Why is this not letting me use the volume shader? That's weird. I can't add volume to it with the volume shader. I'm going to hit save. And as you can see, as I scrub my playhead forward, the flowers are piling up there. Okay. When they're out of the light, they're a little darker. And when they're in the light, they're under the light there. Okay. So now we've got this pile of flowers popping up. So we can then say, well, that's a ton of flowers. It's like way too much. Let's try birth rate 0.2. Now we've got less. And it's a little bit more realistic, you know, rather than that like superly cartoony amount of flowers, which is an example of exaggeration. So I'm going to hit save. So that was the birth 0.2. Now extra. I'm going to adjust the extra a little bit. I'm going to change my extra to 0.58. No, extra in physics. That's just making them fall a little, you know, a little bit more there. It's just got a little bit more of an arc to it. It's a shame we can't shade it. That would look really nice. Like they'd have a little bit more shading as they piled up. But that's a pretty good start for that. And then we could like fine tune it Tuesday. So see, now you got a smaller pile there. We could always change the extra angle if we want. All right. Have a great weekend. Hope everyone else has a great weekend, and I'm going to end the recording here. Don't forget, the assignment has been moved. Yep, no problem at all. The assignment has been moved to Thursday of next week, not Tuesday. So we'll have some extra lab time to fine tune, and I'll go over again how to render, just so everyone's up to date with that. All right, great. No problem.